Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Episode 2, Shields versus Scott. As we continue working towards episode 30, every day we'll drop, I may drop 1, 2, 3 videos, I don't know. Depends on what kind of time I have. But every champion has a beginning. Before the championship belts, before the Olympic gold medals, television cameras, before sold out arenas, before millions of people knew her name. There was simply a young girl trying to survive. We all know the story about big goat Claressa Shields. If you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. Even though there may be some parts of the movie that listen to some of the family members that say that it's not 100% true, and certain parts of her amateur career seem to have been omitted. But the bottom line is, it serves as a pretty good baseline for you to start to develop somewhat of an understanding about Claressa Shields and some of her struggles as a young lady, as an amateur, and just trying to survive and navigate her way through life and to go on to win the 2 gold medals in the Olympics. But one thing's for sure, when people see Claressa Shields today, they do see confidence. They see dominance. Others see, all the controversy. But the reality is, I think you see confidence, dominance, and controversy. But very few stop to ask the most important question, because she gives us so much drama and controversy that it overshadows everything, that the most important question, how was she built, is never asked. Because champions are not created the night they win a world title. They're created years earlier. It takes pain, sacrifice, a lot of disappointment, even failure. Probably moments that almost made them quit. So today's story isn't about championship belts. It's about becoming the person capable of winning them. And that's exactly what Claressa Shields did in a city that shaped her into a champion. You see, every fighter represents more than themselves. They represent where they come from. Some fighters carry an entire country on their shoulders. You've seen that with the Canelo Alvarez, the Usyks, the Roberto Durans. You see these guys come into boxing carrying an entire country on the shoulder. One fighter in particular that comes to mind is Manny Pacquiao. Most people didn't even know where the hell the Philippines was till Manny Pacquiao burst on the scene. But those are people carrying countries on their shoulders. Then others just carry an entire city. And for Claressa, that city was Flint, Michigan. Flint has long been associated with resilience. Like many industrial communities, it has faced significant economic hardship and public challenges over the years. Those conditions shaped countless families and influenced the lives of young people growing up there. So many children dreaming of escaping difficult circumstances like Claressa Shields, very few actually do. And she was able to do it. Because what most of us are learning who didn't know a damn thing about Flint is that those streets out there don't hand out opportunities. They demand toughness. You learn quickly, or life teaches you the hard way. And obviously, Claressa is a perfect example of those things. You see, growing up in an environment like that often changes the way someone sees the world. And that's why many of us are watching Claressa Shields and feel like she's just acting the fool. Because although she has this money, she has this success, she doesn't see the world through the lens where most of us who don't come from a place where there was a lot of trauma and disappointment. You see, for Claressa, nothing came easy, and to her, nothing comes easy. Everything must be earned. And for many athletes from difficult backgrounds, sports becomes more than a hobby. They become hope, a purpose, a direction. And for Claressa, that direction became boxing. Where it's at right now, a lot of us are questioning it because she doesn't seem to love the sport. She seems to just be doing it. But she doesn't seem to be focused on those things that she did when she was younger and early in her pro career that really made her great and made people across most households love and appreciate her as a piece of American sporting history. Now, Let's take you back to when she was just a little girl and entered a boxing gym. I'm trying to imagine walking into a boxing gym for the first time. You got heavy bags swinging, sounds of gloves striking leather, the smell of sweat, the echo of jump ropes hitting wooden floors, older fighters training, coaches shouting instructions. It's intimidating. Now imagine being a young girl entering that environment. At the time, boxing gyms were still overwhelmingly male spaces. Many people didn't expect girls to stay. Some assumed they would lose interest. Others believed boxing simply wasn't for them. And unfortunately, it's still like that today in many places. But history has shown those assumptions were wrong for many women who entered the sport with determination. For Claressa, boxing wasn't about proving girls belonged. It was about finding something she loved. And you gotta love it to do what she did as an amateur, win the gold medals, which she lets you know about all the time. Every great fighter remembers their first gym. Just like people who've gone off to college remember their first day, had to leave home for the first time to go off to college, go into the military, to go wherever. Most of us can remember that. But for them, they remember their first time going to a gym because that first gym changes everything. That first experience changes everything, especially when it becomes a second home, a classroom, a place where discipline begins. Because boxing teaches different lessons. Most sports reward talent, boxing rewards discipline. Talent can win rounds, discipline wins careers. Good example right now. Look at somebody like Adrian Broner. The man had talent, he won rounds. He had discipline early. He had a great career. Then he lost the discipline and was just relying on talent. And the career came to an end. He still won some rounds, but he wasn't winning enough rounds to win fights. So his career crumbled. And see, a boxer quickly learns that natural ability isn't enough. You have to wake up early, run when you're tired, train when your body hurts, listen to coaches, accept criticism, repeat the same techniques thousands of times. The jab, again, again, again. Move your head after you punch. Get out of there, circle. Where's your footwork? Again, again. Do it again. You see, champions are built through repetition, long before television cameras arrive. And there are always the first signs of greatness. Every athlete has a moment when coaches notice something different. And for Claressa, they immediately noticed it. Speed, some have more power, some have the composure, determination. And it's not always obvious to outsiders because they don't have that trained eye to recognize it. But experienced coaches can recognize unusual dedication before championships ever arrive. One athlete stays after practice. Another asks more questions. Another refuses to quit after losing. Those habits matter. Greatness usually reveals itself quietly before it becomes visible public. Now you see, before it becomes visible to the public, there's this thing called learning to love hard work. Claressa Shields learned to love hard work. Right now, many fans don't feel that she loves the hard work anymore because you just look at the way she eats and how she balloons up in between fights. And that is not to take a poke at her or to body shame her. This is a fact. She does not stay anywhere near her fighting weight. Now she's cutting down to 160 from over 200 pounds, and many people are concerned that she's going to get in the ring with Kate Scott, and Claressa is going to develop exhaustion, fatigue, poor ability to recover, and dead leg. And now the fight is super competitive, and they're giving Kate Scott a chance to win. But see, learning to love hard work, a lot of people just enjoy winning. Far fewer enjoy preparing to win. The difference separates champions from everyone else. This is where people feel Claressa's at. She just likes winning, but the preparation to win she doesn't like anymore. Especially when she comes out and says, I didn't even really have to show much skill. I just knew I could just go fight him and beat him. So I just did. I was just in the ring fighting. And that's probably because preparation is very lonely. You got to have the early morning road work, late night recovery, thousands of rounds of shadow boxing, strength training, conditioning, technical drills, film study, good nutrition recovery. All these things that I'm mentioning, Claressa doesn't seem to be doing half of them because she's on the internet bullshit. You see, the public sees, before, years ago, the public just saw the final performance. They couldn't see the build-up, the preparation. But now with Claressa and social media, we see the preparation. We're seeing it. And we're like, damn, this is the preparation behind her fights. She's spending more time celebrating instead of practicing and getting ready for this fight with K. Scott. That's why people feel that she's just out here cherry picking her for an easy win, thinking she's going to get a KO. But they're losing respect for her at the same time. That's why women like Alicia Baumgartner are just really, taking that space. You see, this thing about Claressa, and I'm confident, and no one can beat me, and no one can this. All right, we got it. You deserve to pop your shit. Because confidence doesn't appear overnight. Claressa put the work in. Everyone describes her, it used to be they described her as extremely confident. Now they describe her as extremely arrogant and obnoxious. She is the classic definition of someone not holding the horses and taking it to the stupid. But if you say that to her, all she's going to say is, man, please, bullshit. Y'all just hating on me because y'all hate me. Y'all just mad. Papoose, pap. They hating again. Her champion doing this video was going good. And all of a sudden, here it is again. Man, please. Nah. It's not that we're misunderstanding your confidence. You got to understand, real confidence usually isn't built from compliments. People validating you. Nah, it's built from preparation. Just imagine throwing hundreds of thousands of jabs over many years. Imagine sparring countless rounds, competing at, the highest level against high-level opponents repeatedly. Eventually, confidence becomes a product of experience, not wishful thinking, because you put the work in. A fighter who is consistently prepared has reasons to believe in their abilities. That's why most people don't knock Claressa for feeling confident that she can beat the world. Is how she's going about it because of the attitude. Boxing has become her identity, and it's understandable. Sports is something that she does. You know what I'm saying? But it's also become part of who she is. And see, and that's the difference that changed everything. Boxing is what Claressa Shields is. It's become part of her identity. But the problem is, it almost seems like she's gone back to this is just something that I do, instead of this is who I am. It seems to be a focus shift. You know what I'm saying? Because missing a workout, it doesn't seem like that would bother her. If she were to skip road work, she'd be comfortable with that. As far as trying to improve, it doesn't seem to be a lifestyle. It's just like, oh, I got to do it. But it's not like embracing it and owning it, and enjoying the suck. You know what I'm saying? But when you have someone who misses workouts, feels uncomfortable if they skip road work, you know what I'm saying? Those are the people that create that separation. And it's the separation from just being, I would say, a good professional to being a great champion. The gym isn't simply a workplace, it's a home. And when we're watching Claressa, we're watching K. Scott, a lot of us are feeling that K. Scott wants to be a great champion. Claressa just wants to be a good professional because she feels I've been there, done that, got the hat and t-shirt as far as being a great champion. And again, the talent gap has been closed, people. We understand. Sacrifice begins early. We understand these champions, they give up something. Birthday parties, vacations, late nights, fast food, sleep, time with friends, normal teenage experiences. People admire championship belts. They rarely calculate what those belts cost. And that's why some people feel Claressa is now just out here, living her life, acting and doing certain things that she wasn't able to do, and now she can. And plus, she didn't have the best experience. Now she was bullied and made fun of. So now she got the money, so she just wants to project onto everybody else her pain, her trauma. But one thing is for sure, she spent a lot of time training. She wasn't out somewhere else. She was in the gym. You know what I'm saying? She knew that championships require choices repeatedly for years. But where she's at right now, it seems like she may not be following that philosophy anymore. Because boxing is different. It's not like team sports. There's nowhere to hide inside a boxing ring. No substitute comes off the bench. No teammate scores the winning points. No one can call a timeout because you're tired. Once the bell rings, everything belongs to you. That reality creates a different type of athlete. Responsibility becomes personal. Victory belongs to you. Defeat belongs to you, and Claressa needs to own it if she loses to K. Scott. Same way she owns her victories and she gets on social media and talks crazy, she better get on here and talk crazy about how she lost and explain why she lost and say, look, I messed up, I didn't focus, but I'm going to be better. Do something. Because boxing's supposed to teach accountability better than almost any other sport. But we're going to find out, because if she gets the bing bings put on her, the Aussie bing bings put on her, we're going to see if she takes accountability or if she makes excuses. And this is why it's so important to know who's coaching her. She says she got some new coach coming in, and how many coaches she bringing in? You know what I'm saying? But I understand no champion succeeds alone, but that's something else that it's like, what does she have going on right now? Got Coach Jackson, a new coach. They're working together. I don't understand what she has going on, but I know that there is an importance of coaching, because champions don't succeed alone. Behind every elite fighter stands a team. But it sounds like Claressa is still trying to sort out her team. And most of us feel the team she has, especially with Papoose, win records and them guys, once they got involved, she has a team that's really about themselves, not about her. You see, but when the coach she has, he's solid. I know who he is. That dude is solid. And that's why you look at Claressa and as far as her technique and skill. He has taught her that. He's corrected mistakes, but she's just an emotional fighter. She gets in the ring and gets wild, but you'll see her settle down, and then you'll see the skill. But, she will get wild. And that's because she'll come back to the corner, he'll correct those mistakes. At the same time, while he's correcting mistakes, he's building the confidence, reminding her of the work she put in, the different combinations, what to do when someone gets close and maintaining a distance. You know what I'm saying? Going to the body. Challenging those bad habits that, start to show up again, that showed up in training camp, but that may, resurface in the fight. You see, that's what it is about having a really good coach. Provide perspective after victories and defeat. I call that a hot wash. You see, a great coach is not just about improving punches. It helps shape decision-making, discipline, and consistency. And those relationships often become just as important as the physical talent. The problem here is, outside the ring, the coach doesn't seem to really have much involvement or much say. Because outside the ring, Claressa is nothing like inside the ring. Inside the ring, that's controlled aggression, controlled chaos. Outside the ring, she's a fool. So in her case, it seems like the coaching stops after she actually has her fight. And she goes her way and he goes his. So I'll just say this. By the time many people first heard the name Claressa Shields, years of hard work had already been completed. The public usually meets champions at the finish line. I think Claressa Shields' career is over. That's just me. I just think she's done too much damage to her reputation and brand. She might as well just exit the sport. But she's not going to. Next year, she's supposed to have a baby and all this other stuff. I don't know what she's gonna do. But I think what we're seeing right now is Claressa Shields at the finish line, man. But it's unfortunate because there are some that didn't get to witness the countless unseen mornings that made all the moments possible for Claressa to do so well as an amateur and as a pro. They're just seeing the nonsense going on now. A lot of them never even followed Claressa. Didn't even know who she was till this shit happened with her, Papoose, and then the Remy shit. But what I will tell you is that the foundation for Claressa's past success, present success, and if she can get it together, future success. It was built long before anybody was paying attention to her the way they're paying attention to her now. But we'll see what the future holds for her. But the bottom line is she has a story, man. The girl came from the hood. She came from nothing. We get it. But you listen to the women, man, they say you can't make excuses for that bad attitude. And no one's trying to take away from what she's accomplished. Just looking at her right now. And just saying, damn, that was only the beginning, and what she did as an amateur and what she did as a pro. And it's pretty amazing, right? The local gym was no longer enough for her. She needed bigger challenges. National tournaments, elite competition, international experiences, international expectations. And eventually, the dream that seemed impossible. The poor girl from Flint went on to represent the United States at the Olympic Games. And didn't just represent them. She went out there and won 2 damn gold medals. And even had Leila Ali introduce her to the whole world. Co-signed her. Take a look at her now. Anyway, more to come. I got to keep doing more videos on her and Kate Scott and just make this into like a movie. Talking about the amateur career, rising through boxing, how she reached the Olympics, and how those experiences shaped the champion the boxing world will later come to know. And then we'll eventually get into this old shit show with her and Papoose and Win Records. And then we'll end up finishing off the last couple episodes talking about her and Kate Scott. So just buckle up, get your popcorn, because I'm just getting started. Shields versus Scott, episode 2, in the break.